Welcome to Chinese History and Mythology.
Hello friends, welcome back, and welcome to Chinese History and Mythology. In the previous episode, we talked about what happened after the death of Duke Huan of Qi, when the state of Qi fell into a brutal and absurd political deadlock. The princes confronted one another, each fighting for the throne. Yet no one dared to hold the funeral for their late ruler. The officials closed their doors. The court had no master, and Duke Huan's body lay exposed in the palace chamber for 67 days without burial. When everyone else retreated, only two elderly ministers, Guo Yizhang and Gao Hu, stepped forward. They risked their lives, went door to door to gather the officials, and led them into court dressed in mourning clothes. Using filial duty and ritual propriety as their justification, they forced Prince Wu Kui to preside over Duke Huan's funeral. When they entered the chamber and saw the decayed corpse, covered with insects, the sight shocked everyone. Wu Kui broke down in tears. The ministers wept together. And Duke Huan was finally buried. At that moment, Wu Kui was pushed forward as chief mourner and temporarily assumed the throne. The other princes were forced to withdraw, and on the surface, the chaos in Qi seemed to settle, but the real storm had not yet ended. The exiled Crown Prince Zhou had already fled to the state of Song. Duke Shang of Song invoked the name of righteousness and called upon the other lords, preparing to attack Qi and restore Crown Prince Zhou to the throne. Meanwhile, inside Qi, Yong Wu and Shu Diao controlled the army, slaughtered officials, and ruled through terror, becoming the true danger within the state. More importantly, Gao Hu and Guo Yizhang had changed their position. They understood clearly that Wu Kui was only a temporary solution. Crown Prince Zhao was the rightful heir, and if Qi were to stabilize, Yong Wu and Shu Diao had to be eliminated first, so an assassination plan quietly took shape atop the city tower. Under the excuse of a secret meeting, Shu Diao was lured into the trap, ambushes were set, the bait was cast. Would Shu Diao walk out alive? And would the throne of Qi change hands once again? Let us continue the story. Taking advantage of the moment when Yong Wu led troops out of the city, Gao Hu hid brave warriors inside the city tower and sent someone to invite Shu Diao to discuss state affairs. Shu Diao suspected nothing. Full of arrogance, he arrived as usual. Gao Hu prepared a banquet and waited for him in the tower. After 3 cups of wine, Gao Hu said, "Now the ruler of Song has gathered the other states and is escorting the crown prince back with a great army. How should we resist them?" Shu Diao replied, "Yiya has already led troops out to meet the enemy." Gao Hu said, "Qi's forces are few, and the enemy is many. What should we do?" "I must rely on you to save Qi from this disaster," Shu Diao answered. "What ability do I have? If the senior minister has something for me to do, I will obey your command." Gao Hu said, "I need to borrow your head to apologize to the state of Song." Shu Diao was shocked and leapt to his feet. Gao Hu turned and shouted to those around him, "Why are you not acting at once?" Warriors hidden in both rooms rushed out together, seized Shu Diao, and killed him. Gao Hu then opened the city gates wide and sent men everywhere shouting, "The crown prince has arrived outside the city. Those who wish to welcome him, follow me." The people of the capital had long despised Yong Wu and Shu Diao, and because of them, they were also dissatisfied with Wu Kui. Now seeing Gao Hu personally go out to welcome the crown prince, they raised their arms and cheered, eager to follow. In a short time, thousands gathered behind him. At the same time, Guo Yizhang rushed into the palace, forced open the gates, and asked to see Wu Kui. He said, "The people of the state all support the crown prince and have gone out to welcome him. I cannot stop them. My lord should quickly consider how to seek refuge." Wu Kui asked, "Where are Yong Wu and Shu Diao?" Guo Yizhang replied, "Yong Wu has gone out to face the enemy and the outcome is unknown. Shu Diao has already been killed by the people of the capital." Hearing this, Wu Kui flew into a rage and shouted, "If the people were going to kill Shu Diao, how could you not know?" He turned and ordered his attendants to seize Guo Yizhang. Guo Yizhang turned and fled from the court. Wu Kui, filled with hatred, gathered several dozen palace guards, mounted a small chariot, drew his sword, and left the palace. He ordered all young men to take up armor and weapons and follow him out of the city to fight the enemy. But when the guards shouted and called through the streets, not a single soldier responded. Instead, many enemies emerged. As the saying goes, kindness must be repaid, and grudges never fade. Those who appeared were families of officials once killed by Yong Wu and Shu Diao for refusing to support Wu Kui. For a long time, every household carried resentment and remembered their hatred. They had only endured it out of fear of war and suffering. Now hearing that Gao Hu had killed Shu Diao and gone to welcome the crown prince, they rejoiced, saying, "At last, heaven has opened its eyes." They all took weapons for self-defense and went to the eastern gate to inquire about the crown prince. By chance, they encountered Wu Kui riding in his small chariot. Enemies meeting face to face, burned with hatred. One person rushed forward, and the rest followed, surrounding Wu Kui with weapons. The guards shouted, "The Lord is here. Do not be disrespectful." The crowd cried out, "He is not our Lord." They raised swords and spears and struck at the guards. Wu Kui could not resist. He jumped down from the chariot to flee, but was killed by the crowd. The eastern gate erupted into chaos, voices filling the air. Only when Guo Yizhong arrived to calm the people did they slowly disperse. Guo Yizhong arranged for Wu Kui's body to be taken to another palace for burial, and sent messengers at once to inform Gao Hu of what had happened in the city. Meanwhile, Yong Wu was camped at the eastern pass, facing the Song army. That night, chaos suddenly broke out in the camp. Soldiers spread the news that Wu Kui and Shu Diao were dead, and that Minister Gao Hu had led the people to welcome Crown Prince Zhou as ruler. "We cannot continue to serve tyranny," they said. Hearing this, Yong Wu knew the army's morale had collapsed. His heart felt like it was pierced with thorns. That very night, he fled with a few trusted followers to the state of Lu. At dawn, Gao Hu arrived at the eastern pass, pacified Yong Wu's troops, and then went to the outskirts to welcome Crown Prince Zhou into the state. He also apologized to the armies of Song, Wei, Cao, and Zhou, requesting peace. Seeing this, the four states withdrew their troops. Gao Hu escorted Crown Prince Zhou to outside Linzi, where he rested temporarily in a guest residence. He sent word to Guo Yizhong to prepare the officials to come out and formally welcome the new ruler. When Princess Yong and Pan heard of this, they went to consult with Prince Shangren. Planning to welcome the new ruler together, Prince Shangren flew into a rage and said, "We stayed in the state to hold our father's funeral, while Zhao showed no filial duty. Now he relies on Song's military power to bully his elders and seize Qi. This is unjust. The allied armies have withdrawn. Let us lead our household troops, claim revenge for Wu Kui, and kill Zhao, then among the three of us. Let the ministers choose one as ruler. That way we avoid being controlled by Song and preserve our late father's authority." Prince Yuan said, "If so, it would be best to act under orders from the palace, so we have justification." He went to report to Lady Chang Wei. She wept and said, "If you can avenge Wu Kui, I will die without regret." She ordered Wu Kui's former followers to assist the three princes. Shu Diao's remaining supporters also came to seek revenge. They split up to guard the four city gates. Fearing their power, Guo Yizhong closed his residence and no longer dared to act openly. Gao Hu said to Crown Prince Zhao, "Although Wu Kui and Shu Diao are dead, their followers remain, and the three princes now hold power inside the city. If we force entry, war will break out again, and failure will waste all previous efforts. It is better to return to Song and request reinforcements." Crown Prince Zhao said, "I will follow your judgment." So Gao Hu and Crown Prince Zhao went back to Song. Duke Shang of Song was surprised to see them return and asked why. Gao Hu explained everything in detail. Duke Shang said, "This is because I withdrew too early. Do not worry. With me here, you will enter Linzi." He ordered additional forces, increasing from 200 to 400 war chariots, and personally escorted Crown Prince Zhao back into Qi. Seeing Gao Hu at the front, Qi's border guards opened the gates at once. The army advanced directly to Linzi and camped outside the city. Duke Xiang ordered preparations for siege equipment. Inside the city, Prince Shangren said, "If Song attacks, the people will suffer. Let us strike first while their troops are unsettled. If we win, good. If we lose, we can scatter and escape. This is better than waiting inside the city." The other princes agreed. That night, they opened the gates and attacked the Song camp, unexpectedly capturing the vanguard led by Prince Deng. Prince Deng fled, abandoning the camp. General Gong Sungu rushed in with the main army, while Hu Yuxi and Gao Hu led reinforcements. The two sides fought fiercely until dawn. Though the four factions had many supporters, they lacked unity. By morning, they were crushed. Prince Yuan fled to Wei, Princes Pan and Shangren retreated into the city, but Song forces followed closely. Kui Yao drove Crown Prince Zhao's chariot straight into Lindsay. Guo Yizhong gathered the officials with Gao Hu and enthroned Crown Prince Zhao as ruler. This was Duke Zhao of Qi, and that year became the first year of his reign. After ascending the throne, Duke Zhao rewarded merit, appointed Kui Yao as a minister, and generously rewarded the Song army. Duke Shang of Song stayed 5 days before withdrawing. Later, Duke Shi of Lu arrived too late and returned home, creating lasting resentment between Lu and Qi. Princes Pan and Shangren shifted all blame onto Prince Yuan, Gao Hu, and Guo Yizhong, punished only Yong Wu and Shu Diao's followers, and spared the rest. That autumn, Duke Huan was buried at New Shu Hill. 3 great mounds were built, with a smaller one for Yan heir. Hundreds of palace attendants were buried alive. In later times, the tomb was looted, revealing mercury pools and countless treasures, and piles of bones from those buried with him. A later poem reflected on this. The tombs rise like mountains, rich and grand, gold and jade once filled that hidden land. Great hordes invite the hands that break and steal. Simple burial is wisdom, not miserliness. After Duke Shang of Song defeated the Qi army and helped Crown Prince Zhao ascend the throne as ruler of Qi, he believed he had achieved an extraordinary and unmatched accomplishment. He then began to dream of summoning the feudal lords and replacing Duke Huan of Qi as the new hegemon. However, he also feared direct confrontation with the major powers, so he first invited several smaller states, Tang, Cao, Zhou, and Zheng, to form an alliance south of the state of Cao. The rulers of Cao and Zhou arrived early. Ying Qi, the ruler of Tang, arrived later. Duke Shang of Song refused to let him join the alliance and instead placed him under house arrest. The ruler of Zheng, frightened by Song's power, also came to attend, but arrived 2 days late. Duke Shang of Song asked his ministers, "I have just called for an alliance, yet even a small state like Zheng dares to be negligent and arrive 2 days late. If I do not punish this severely, how can I establish authority?" Minister Prince Deng replied, "In the past, Duke Huan of Qi campaigned north and south, but never fully subdued the eastern tribal peoples. If your majesty wishes to display power in the central plains, you must first conquer those eastern tribes. And to conquer them, you must make use of the ruler of Zheng." Duke Shang asked, "How should I use him?" Prince Deng said, "In the middle of the Zhou River, there is a deity who can summon wind and rain. The eastern tribes build temples to worship it and offer sacrifices all year long. If your majesty truly uses the ruler of Zheng as a sacrificial offering to the god of the Zhou River, the deity will grant blessings. And when the eastern tribes hear of this, they will believe that the king holds the power of life and death over the lords, who would not fear and submit to you. After that, you can use the strength of the eastern tribes to campaign against the other states, and your hegemonic ambition will be fulfilled." Senior Minister Prince Muyi spoke to dissuade him. This cannot be done. Since ancient times, small matters do not require great sacrifices, because life itself is valued, how much more so when the sacrifice is a human being. The purpose of ritual is to seek blessings for the people. Killing someone to pray for blessings will never be accepted by the spirits. Moreover, state sacrifices are conducted by proper officials. The god of the Zhou River is nothing more than a demon spirit. If the king worships the same gods as the barbarians, how does that show superiority over them? Who would truly submit to you? Duke Huan of Qi led alliances for 40 years, supported weak states, restored declining powers, and bestowed benefits year after year. Now your majesty is holding your first alliance meeting and already killing a feudal lord to please a demon. This will make the lords fear you and betray you, not willingly follow you." Prince Deng replied, "Your words are mistaken. Competing for hegemony today is not the same as Duke Huan's time. Duke Huan governed for 20 years before leading alliances. Can our ruler afford to wait that long? Winning people through virtue takes time, but enforcing authority through fear works quickly. If we do not intimidate the barbarians, they will doubt us. If we do not frighten the lords, they will mock us. If we are mocked at home and doubted abroad, how can we become hegemon? In the past, King Wu of Zhou beheaded King Zhou of Shang and displayed his head, thereby gaining the world. That was a feudal lord killing a son of heaven. If we kill one small lord, what harm is there? Your majesty must follow my advice. Eager to command the lords, Duke Shang ignored Prince Muyi's counsel. He ordered Duke Wan of Zhou to kill the ruler of Zhang, boil his body, and use it as a sacrifice to the god of the Zhou River. He also summoned the eastern tribal chiefs to attend the ritual, but those tribes, unfamiliar with Song's policies, did not send a single person. Yingqi of Tang was terrified. He sent generous gifts to Duke Shang of Song and begged for release, narrowly escaping imprisonment. Minister Shifugu of Cao said to Duke Gong of Cao, "The ruler of Song is arrogant and cruel. He cannot succeed. We should return home." Duke Gong of Cao then took his leave and returned. Without preparing local provisions, Duke Shang of Song was furious and sent messengers to reprimand the ruler of Cao, saying, "In ancient times, when rulers met, there were always grain and meat to show hospitality. Our ruler has remained in your territory for 3 days, yet our soldiers do not even know who the host is. We ask that you reflect on this," Shifugu replied. "Offering meat to a teacher is the proper li when engaging a master. Our ruler came here on official duty and has been busy attending to affairs. We had no time to prepare other provisions. If this is seen as a failure of hospitality, our ruler feels deeply ashamed and asks only for your majesty's forgiveness." Duke Gong of Cao departed at last. Duke Xiang of Song, enraged, ordered his army to march and attack Cao. Prince Mai again tried to dissuade him. Duke Huan of Qi traveled among the states, giving more gifts than he received. He never blamed others for poor preparation, nor punished those who failed to attend. This tolerance won hearts. Cao's lack of courtesy has not harmed your majesty. Why attack them? Duke Xiang refused to listen and ordered Prince Deng to lead 300 war chariots to attack Cao and besiege its capital. Shifugu defended skillfully and resisted Prince Deng for 3 months, during which Prince Deng could not prevail. At this time, Duke Wan of Zheng allied with Chu and gathered the rulers of Lu, Qi, Chen, and Kai to meet King Cheng of Chu within Qi territory. Duke Xiang of Song was alarmed. He feared that Qi or Lu might contend for hegemony, and that Prince Deng's failure would bring ridicule. He recalled Prince Deng. Duke Guang of Cao, fearing further attacks, sent envoys to Song to apologize. Relations between Song and Cao were restored. Still determined to achieve hegemony, Duke Xiang saw that small states refused to submit while major states allied with distant Chu. He grew angry and anxious and consulted Prince Deng again. Prince Deng said, "Among the great powers, none exceed Qi and Chu. Qi has just ended internal strife and has not yet stabilized. Chu has proclaimed itself king and now frightens the Central Plains. Your Majesty should spare no expense and humbly request to become Chu's vassal. Chu will surely agree. Then you can use Chu's power to summon the lords, and later use the lords to restrain Chu. This is a temporary strategy," Prince Mai warned again. "Chu already has many vassals. Why would it accept us? If we seek to submit, conflict may instead arise." Duke Xiang ignored him and ordered Prince Deng to carry lavish gifts to Chu. King Cheng of Chu heard the request and agreed to meet the following spring at Luxiang. Prince Deng returned and reported. Duke Xiang said, "Luxiang lies within Qi territory. Qi must be informed." Prince Deng was sent to Qi to convey the message. Duke Xiao of Qi also agreed. This took place in the 11th year of Duke Xiang of Song and the 12th year of King Xiang of Zhou. In the spring of the following year, during the first lunar month, Duke Xiang of Song arrived at Luxiang ahead of time. He built an earthen altar for the alliance and waited for the rulers of Qi and Chu. In early February, Duke Xiao of Qi finally arrived. Duke Xiang believed he had done Duke Xiao a great favor by helping him ascend the throne, and during their meeting he often acted as if he were the benefactor. Duke Xiao, grateful for Song's help, did his best to fulfill the duties of a host and treated Duke Xiang with great courtesy. More than 20 days later, King Cheng of Chu arrived. When the rulers of Song and Qi met, seating was arranged according to noble rank. Although Chu had proclaimed itself a kingdom, in name it was still only a viscount state. Therefore, Duke Xiang placed himself first, Duke Xiao of Qi second, and the ruler of Chu third. This order was set by Duke Xiang of Song. On the agreed date, the 3 rulers ascended the alliance altar at Luxiang together. Duke Xiang boldly acted as the leader of the alliance and seized the ox's ear first for the blood oath, showing no humility at all. King Cheng of Chu was displeased, but reluctantly went through the ritual. After bowing to the other 2, Duke Xiang said, "By the remaining blessings of my ancestors, I serve as a minister of the Zhou Son of Heaven. Though my virtue is shallow and my strength small, I privately wish to restore the tradition of interstate alliances. I fear that hearts may not unite, so I ask to rely on the authority of you 2 rulers to summon the feudal lords this autumn. In the 8th month, at you and Song. If you are willing to join me in calling this alliance and leading the lords, I am willing to form a brotherly bond with you for generations. Not only I myself, but even the descendants of the Shang kings will forever thank you for this favor. Duke Zhou of Qi gestured for King Cheng of Chu to take precedence, and King Cheng in turn yielded to Duke Zhou. The two pushed back and forth for a long time without deciding. Duke Zheng said, "If you do not abandon me, then please sign together." He then produced the letter calling for the alliance. Instead of handing it to the ruler of Qi, he first gave it to King Cheng of Chu to sign. Duke Zhou saw this and felt deeply displeased. King Cheng glanced at the document. It called for summoning the feudal lords to an alliance. Following the precedent of Duke Huan of Qi's assembly in robes, with no war chariots, Duke Shang had already signed his own name at the end. King Cheng smiled inwardly and said, "If your lordship can summon all the lords yourself, why do you need my signature?" Duke Shang replied, "Zhang and Su have long been under your protection, and Chen and Kai have recently entered Qi's alliance. Without the authority of you two rulers, matters may be inconvenient, so I seek your help." King Cheng said, "If that is the case, the ruler of Qi should sign first, and then I will follow." Duke Zhao of Qi said, "To Song, I am like a subordinate. Only Chu is truly difficult to invite." King Cheng laughed, signed his name, and handed the brush to Duke Zhao. Duke Zhao said, "Since Chu has already signed, Qi has no need to do so. I have wandered and nearly died many times. By fortune alone, my ancestral state still survives. To follow behind you two in the blood oath is already an honor. I am insignificant. Why should I profane this document?" He firmly refused to sign. In truth, Duke Zhao was displeased that Duke Shang had first asked the king of Chu to sign, showing favor to Chu over Qi. Duke Shang, however, believed he was owed gratitude by Qi, and took Duke Zhao's words as sincere, so he put the document away. The three rulers stayed at Lushang for several more days, exchanged courtesies, and then departed. A later poem lamented this event. The lords belonged to the central lands from the start. Why beg favor from Chu instead? Mistaking shared roots for one single tree, who knew each branch would grow its own fork? After King Cheng returned to Chu, he told his chief minister Ziwen about the matter. Ziwen said, "The ruler of Song is far too arrogant. Why did your majesty agree to him at all?" King Cheng laughed and said, "I have long wished to manage the affairs of the Central Plains but lacked the opportunity. Now that Song proposes an assembly in robes, why should I not use this chance to gather the lords?" Minister Cheng Dichen said, "The ruler of Song seeks empty reputation and ignores substance. He trusts too easily and lacks strategy. If we set an ambush and seize him, we can capture him alive." The king replied, "That is exactly my intention." Ziwen warned, "You agreed to an alliance, yet now plan to seize him. People will say Chu is untrustworthy. How can the lords submit?" Dichen answered, "Song intends to lead the alliance and clearly looks down on the lords. The states do not understand Song's politics and are not united with him. Capture him to display Chu's power, then release him to show Chu's mercy. The lords will feel ashamed of Song's incompetence. If they do not submit to Chu, whom will they submit to? If we cling to minor promises and lose great achievements, that would be poor strategy," Ziwen said. "This plan is beyond my thinking." The king then ordered Cheng Dichen and Do Bo to serve as generals. Each selected 500 brave warriors and secretly prepared for the ambush. After Duke Shang returned from Lushang, he was delighted. With a smile, he said to Prince Mu Yi, "Chu has agreed to become my vassal." Prince Mu Yi warned, "Chu is a barbarian state with a heart that is hard to read. You have only received the king's words, not his true intent. I fear you may be deceived." Duke Shang replied, "You worry too much. I treat others with loyalty and trust. How could they bear to deceive me?" He ignored the advice and sent notices to all states to summon the alliance. He ordered an altar built at Yu, guest residences expanded, and everything made splendid. Grain and fodder were stored in abundance. Sacrificial offerings and gifts were prepared generously, nothing lacking. In the 7th month of autumn, Duke Shang prepared to depart. Prince Mu Yi again advised, "Chu is violent and untrustworthy. Please take war chariots with you." Duke Shang said, "We agreed to follow the assembly in robes. If I bring chariots, I would break my own covenant. How could I speak of trust afterward?" Mu Yi said, "You may go unarmed to preserve trust. Allow me to station 100 chariots 3 li away, just in case." Duke Xiang refused. "If you use chariots, how is that different from me using them?" Before leaving, Duke Xiang feared Mu Yi might secretly send troops and damage his reputation, so he required Mu Yi to go with him. Mu Yi agreed, and they traveled together. The rulers of Chu, Chen, Kai, Su, Cao, and Zheng arrived on time. Duke Xiao of Qi, resentful, and Duke Shi of Lu, who did not align with Chu, did not attend. When messengers reported that all rulers arrived in light carriages, including the king of Chu, Duke Shang said confidently, "I knew the king of Chu would not deceive me." The grand historian selected an auspicious day. Torches lit the altar like daylight. Duke Shang waited nearby. The rulers of Chen, Kai, Zheng, Su, and Cao arrived. At last, near dawn, King Cheng of Chu arrived. Following host etiquette, Duke Shang yielded politely. The guests ascended from the right, allowing the king of Chu to go first. Only Duke Shang and Prince Mui ascended from the left. When it came time to choose the alliance leader, Duke Shang looked to the king of Chu to speak first. The king remained silent. None of the other rulers dared speak. Duke Shang stepped forward and said, "Today I wish to restore Duke Huan's legacy, respect the royal house, pacify the people, end warfare, and bring peace to all under heaven. What do you think?" Before the lords could respond, King Cheng stepped forward and said, "Your words are right, but who should hold the position of alliance leader?" Duke Shang replied, "Merit is judged by achievement, otherwise by rank." The king said, "I have long called myself king. Though you are a high duke, you cannot stand before a king. Forgive me, but I will stand first." He stepped to the front. Prince Mui tugged Duke Shang's sleeve, urging restraint. Duke Shang, furious, said, "I inherit true rank from my ancestors, honored even by the Zhou king. You claim kingship falsely. Why does a false king suppress a true duke?" The king replied, "If I am false, who invited me here?" At that moment, Cheng Dechen and Do Bo removed their ceremonial robes, revealing armor beneath, waved red flags, and armed warriors surged onto the altar like a swarm. The lords were terrified. Cheng Dechen seized Duke Shang by both sleeves. Chaos broke out. Duke Shang whispered to Muyi, "I regret not listening to you. Please return and guard the state." Muyi fled in the confusion. What became of Duke Shang of Song after this? King Cheng of Chu attended the assembly disguised in a light carriage. All those who followed him were elite warriors, wearing armor beneath their clothes and hiding weapons at their sides. Every one of them had been personally selected by Cheng Gechen and Do Bo, and each was exceptionally fierce. At the same time, King Cheng ordered Wei Luchen and Do Ban to command the main army and follow behind, ready for a full-scale battle. Duke Xiang of Song knew nothing of this and fell straight into the trap. As the saying goes, when a careless man meets a calculating one, escape is hard to find. After capturing Duke Xiang, the Chu soldiers looted everything prepared at the guest quarters, the sacrificial offerings, the reward gifts, and all the grains stored in the warehouses. All the carriages Duke Xiang had brought with him were also taken by Chu. The rulers of the 5 other states were terrified. Who would dare speak a word on Duke Xiang's behalf? King Cheng of Chu invited the feudal lords to the guest quarters and publicly listed Duke Xiang's 6 crimes. First, you took advantage of Qi's mourning period to send troops and interfere in its succession. Second, when the ruler of Teng arrived late to the assembly, you humiliated and imprisoned him. Third, you used a human being instead of livestock to sacrifice to obscene spirits. Fourth, the ruler of Cao merely failed in host etiquette, yet you relied on your strength to besiege his capital. Fifth, with a state already on the brink of decline, you failed to assess your own virtue and ability, ignored heaven's warnings, and still sought to become hegemon. Sixth, you begged me for vassal status, yet behaved with arrogance and no humility at all. Heaven stripped you of clear judgment and caused you to attend the alliance alone. I now command 1,000 war chariots and 1,000 generals. I will crush Suyang to avenge Qi and Zheng. You lords may remain here for a few days. When I return after taking Song, we will drink together for 10 days before parting. None of the lords dared object. Duke Xiang stood speechless, like a wooden statue, with only 2 lines of tears running down his face. Soon the Chu army fully assembled. Though they claimed 1,000 chariots, in reality there were only 500. After rewarding the troops, King Cheng broke camp and marched towards Suyang, taking Duke Xiang with him. By royal command, all the other lords remained at Yu. Not one dared return home. A court historian later mocked Duke Xiang's foolishness in verse. Flattering Chu brought disaster instead of gain. Suyang turned at once into a battlefield. Duke Huan once united the lords 9 times, never letting Chu approach the heartland. Meanwhile, Prince Muyi fled back from Yu to the capital and told the Minister of War, Gong Sun-gyu, that Duke Xiang had been captured. He said, "The Chu army will arrive sooner or later. We must mobilize troops and defend the city at once." Gong Sun-gyu replied, "A state cannot go even 1 day without a ruler. You should temporarily act as regent, issue commands, and enforce rewards and punishments clearly so the people will be settled." Prince Muyi leaned close and whispered, Chu is attacking us by holding our ruler hostage. If we act this way, they will be forced to release him. Gongsun-gu agreed and said to the ministers, "Our ruler may never return. We should support Prince Muyi as ruler to manage state affairs." All the ministers knew Prince Muyi's virtue and agreed. Prince Muyi first went to the ancestral temple to announce the matter, then assumed authority as acting ruler. The armies obeyed him strictly, and Suyang was defended like an iron fortress. No sooner had preparations been completed than the Chu army arrived and set up camp outside the city. General Du Bo shouted toward the walls, "Your ruler has been captured alive. His life is in our hands. Surrender the city at once to save him." Gongsun-gu answered from the walls, "By the protection of our ancestors, Song has already established a new ruler. Whether you kill him or spare him is up to Chu. We will not surrender." Du Bo asked, "If your ruler still lives, how can you establish another?" Gongsun-gu replied, "A ruler exists to govern the state. When the state is without one, a new ruler must be appointed." Du Bo said, "We are willing to return your ruler. What reward will you offer?" Gongsun-gu answered, "Our former ruler's capture already disgraced the state. Even if he returns, he cannot rule again. Whether you release him is your choice. If you want battle, our chariots are intact, and we are ready to fight." Seeing such a firm response, Du Bo returned to report. King Cheng was furious and ordered an assault. Arrows and stones rained down from the walls like a storm, and Chu casualties were heavy. After 3 days of failed attacks, King Cheng asked, "If Song no longer wants their ruler, should we kill him?" Cheng De-chen replied, "You accuse Song of killing the ruler of Zheng. If we now kill Duke Shang, we repeat the same crime. Killing him gains us nothing but Song's hatred. It is better to release him." The king asked, "If we cannot take Song and then release their ruler, how do we justify it?" Cheng De-chen answered, "I have a plan. Only Qi and Lu did not attend the Yu assembly. Qi has already reconciled with us twice. Lu is a state of ritual and righteousness. If we present the captured goods in Duke Shang to Lu and invite its ruler to meet at Bo, he will fear coming. Lu's ruler is virtuous and will plead for Duke Shang. We then release him out of respect for Lu's virtue, winning favor with both Song and Lu." King Cheng clapped and laughed. "Zheyu truly sees far." He withdrew the army, camped at Bo, and sent Yi Shen as envoy with the captured chariots to Kufu. The letter to the ruler of Lu said that Duke Shang was arrogant and had been detained, and invited Lu to decide his fate. Duke Shi of Lu was shocked. Though he knew Chu was exaggerating to intimidate him, Lu was weak and Chu strong. If he refused, Chu might attack, so he treated Yi Shen generously and replied at once that he would attend. Duke Shi then set out with Minister Zhang Sui. With Yi Shen's help, Zhang Sui privately met Cheng De-chen and asked him to intercede. Cheng De-chen arranged the meeting with King Cheng. Soon the rulers of Chen, Kai, Zheng, Su, and Cao also arrived. When Zheng's ruler proposed King Cheng as alliance leader, the others hesitated. Duke Shi of Lu spoke firmly, saying that leadership must be based on benevolence and righteousness, not force. If Chu released Duke Shang and ended the alliance in goodwill, he would support Chu without hesitation. The lords agreed. These words were conveyed to King Cheng. King Cheng said, "If the lords reproach me in the name of alliance duty, how can I refuse?" He ordered a new altar built outside Bo and declared that on the 12th month, Daigichu, they would swear the covenant, seal it with blood, and pardon Duke Shang of Song. On the day before the alliance was to be concluded, the king of Chu released Duke Shang of Song and brought him to meet the other rulers. Duke Shang felt both ashamed and furious, his heart full of resentment. Yet he had no choice but to thank the lords. On the day of the alliance, Duke Wen of Zheng led the rulers and sincerely invited the king of Chu to preside over the ceremony. King Cheng stepped forward first, cut the ox's ear, and took the blood. The rulers of Song, Lu, and the others followed in order to swear the oath. Duke Shang dared to be angry, but dared not speak. After the alliance ended, the lords returned to their states. Duke Shang heard rumors that Prince Muyi had already taken the throne and prepared to flee to the state of Wei for refuge. At that moment, an envoy sent by Prince Muyi arrived and conveyed this message. "I am only managing state affairs temporarily in order to guard the state for your lordship. Song has always been your state. Why not return?" Very soon, the welcoming procession was prepared in full. Duke Shang was escorted back to the capital, and Prince Muyi stepped down and returned to the position of minister. Later, commentators said that Duke Shang was released only because of Prince Muyi's strategy. He remained calm and did not cling to the former ruler. If he had panicked and begged Chu to return Duke Shang, Chu would have treated him as a valuable hostage and never released him easily. A poem praised Prince Muyi, saying in effect, "What is gold compared to common clay? When wisdom turns danger aside, a new ruler frees the old from siege and bind. He guards the throne, then yields it back again." For all ages, people praised Prince Muyi's name. Another poem criticized the 6 rulers who openly flattered Chu, begging for Duke Xiang's release, effectively handing control of the Central Plains to Chu with both hands. Would the king of Chu still regard the Central Plains with respect? The poem says, "When the rabbit dies, the fox feels sorrow too. But who was taken, and who did the taking?" Using the civilized to flatter the barbarians without shame, and boasting of mercy, as if it were a great bargain. Duke Xiang had dreamed of achieving hegemony, but instead he was toyed with by Chu and suffered an unbearable humiliation. His hatred cut to the bone, yet he knew he lacked the strength to take revenge. He also blamed the ruler of Zheng for strongly promoting Chu as alliance leader and became deeply resentful, seeking every opportunity to oppose Zheng. In the spring of the 14th year of King Shang of Zhou, during the 3rd month, Duke Wen of Zheng went to Chu to pay court. When Duke Shang heard this, he flew into a rage and mobilized the entire state to attack Zheng in person. He ordered Prince Muyi, now chief minister, to assist Crown Prince Wang Chen in guarding the state. Prince Muyi advised, "Chu and Zheng are on good terms. If Song attacks Zheng, Chu will surely come to its aid. This campaign will not succeed. It would be better to practice virtuous governance and wait for the right moment." The Minister of War, Gong Sengu, also tried to dissuade him. Duke Shang angrily said, "If the Minister of War will not go, then I will go myself." Gong Sengu dared not speak further, and the army set out. Duke Shang commanded the Central Army, with Gong Sengu as his deputy. Le Puyi, Hua Shulao, Prince Dang, and Shang Zishou all followed. When Duke Wen of Zheng received the scouts' reports, he was alarmed and quickly sent messengers to ask Chu for help. King Cheng of Chu said, "Zheng treats me as a son serves his father. I must go to their rescue at once." Cheng Dechen advised, "Rescuing Zheng is not as good as attacking Song." The king asked why. Cheng Dechen replied, "Song's ruler was once captured by us. The people of Song are already terrified. Now he recklessly leads a great army to attack Zheng. Song's homeland must be empty. If we strike there, Song will panic. Victory can be predicted without battle. If Song turns back to rescue itself, their troops will be exhausted. We, waiting fresh, will surely win." The king agreed and immediately appointed Cheng Dechen as commander and Dou Bo as deputy, and raised the army to attack Song. Duke Shang was locked in stalemate with Zheng when he heard that the Chu army was advancing. He marched day and night back to Song territory and camped on the south bank of the Hong River to await Chu's arrival. Cheng Dechen sent a formal challenge to battle. Gong Sengu said, "Chu's purpose is to rescue Zheng. If we withdraw from Zheng and apologize, Chu will retreat. We must not fight them." Duke Shang replied, "In the past, Duke Huan of Qi attacked Chu. Now Chu attacks Song. If we refuse to fight, how can we inherit Duke Huan's heroic legacy?" Gong Sengu said, "I have heard that a fallen dynasty cannot be restored. Heaven abandoned Shang long ago. How can you revive it? Our armor is weaker than Chu's, our weapons duller, our soldiers fewer and weaker. The people of Song fear Chu like venomous snakes. What will you use to win?" Duke Shang answered, "Chu may have armor and weapons, but lacks righteousness. I may lack armor and weapons, but I possess righteousness." King Wu defeated King Zhou with only 3,000 men because of righteousness. If a righteous ruler avoids an unrighteous foe, then life is worse than death. He fixed the battle date as the first day of the 11th month and ordered a great banner made, bearing the words, "Righteousness." Gong Sengu secretly groaned and said to Le Puyi, "War is slaughter, yet he speaks of righteousness. I cannot see where our ruler's righteousness lies. Heaven has already taken his clear judgment. If we avoid destruction, we are fortunate." On the day of battle, before dawn, Gong Sengu rose early and asked Duke Shang to prepare the army. Cheng Dechen camped on the north bank of the Hong River. Dou Bo requested that they cross at dawn, but Cheng Dechen laughed and said, "Duke Shang is utterly foolish and knows nothing of warfare. Early crossing or late crossing makes no difference." At daylight, the Chu troops began crossing. Gong Sengu urged an immediate attack while they were midstream. Duke Shang pointed to the banner and said, "Do you see the words righteousness? How could a righteous army attack an enemy halfway across a river?" Gong Sengu could only sigh again. After Chu finished crossing and formed ranks, Duke Xiang refused again to attack before formation. When the battle finally began, Duke Xiang personally charged with spear in hand. Cheng Dechen opened a gap. let him in, and then surrounded him. In the chaos, Prince Jiang was killed, the banner of righteousness was captured, and Duke Xiang was badly wounded, an arrow shattering the tendon of his knee. Gongsun Gu rescued him at great cost. Almost all the guards died. The Song army was crushed. Weapons and chariots were lost. They fled back to the capital by night. The people mocked Duke Xiang, blaming him for ignoring sound advice and causing disaster. Duke Xiang sighed and said, "A gentleman does not strike the wounded or capture the elderly. I use righteousness to command troops. How could I take advantage of danger?" The entire state laughed at him. Later generations said that Duke Xiang's use of righteousness led to his total failure. This battle is what they meant. A final poem lamented the event. He spared Chu's troops but crushed Teng and Zheng, willing to break his leg for empty fame. If this is what they call righteousness, then thief and sage are no longer clear. The Chu army won a decisive victory, crossed the Han River, and returned triumphantly with songs of triumph. Just after they left Song territory, scouts reported the king of Chu is personally leading troops to receive the army and is now camped at Qi Marsh. Chang Dechain went to Qi Marsh to report the results of the battle. King Chang of Chu said, "Tomorrow the ruler of Zhang will bring his wife to reward the army. We should display the captured goods and the slain to show them our success." It turned out that the wife of Duke Wen of Zhang, Lady Wenmi, was King Cheng's younger sister. Because of this sibling bond, she came with Duke Wen to Qi Marsh to meet the king. King Cheng showed them the many captured goods. The couple offered congratulations and presented large amounts of gold, silver, silk, and cloth to reward the soldiers. Duke Wen then sincerely invited the king to visit Zhang the next day for a banquet. Early the next morning, Duke Wen personally went outside the city to welcome King Cheng. In the ancestral temple, he held a grand banquet and performed the 9 offering ceremony, treating the king as if he were the son of heaven. Hundreds of dishes were served, along with rare fruits and delicacies. No other state could match such extravagance. Lady Wenmi had 2 daughters, both unmarried. She brought them to pay respects to their uncle. King Cheng was delighted. Duke Wen, his wife, and their daughters took turns offering wine. From midday until nightfall, King Cheng drank until he was completely drunk. He said to Wenmi, "I have received your hospitality and drunk far too much. Sister, will you and my 2 nieces see me off?" Wenmi agreed. Duke Wen escorted the king out of the city and then returned. Wenmi and her 2 daughters rode alongside the king all the way to the Chu camp. King Cheng had already taken notice of his niece's beauty. That night, he brought both of them into his quarters and slept with them. Wenmi was restless and sleepless all night. She dared not say a word out of fear of the king's power. An uncle taking his nieces into his bed, King Cheng behaved like a beast. The next day, the king gave Wenmi half of the captured goods and sent her 2 daughters by carriage back to Chu, placing them in his harem. The Zhang minister Shu Zhan sighed and said, "I fear the king of Chu will not meet a good end. Attending a banquet is proper ritual, but leaving without farewell is a grave breach. This will not end well. Let us set aside the affairs of Chu and Song for now and turn to Prince Chang'er of Jin. From the 8th year of King Shang of Zhou until the 14th year, he lived in Qi for a total of 7 years. During this time, Duke Huan of Qi died. The princes fought for the throne, and Qi fell into chaos. When Duke Shao took the throne, he reversed former policies, aligned with Chu, opposed Song, and caused endless disorder. As a result, many states became hostile to Qi. Shao Kui and the others secretly discussed, "We came to Qi hoping to rely on the power of the former hegemon to restore our state. Now the new ruler has abandoned his ancestors' legacy, and the lords have turned away. It is clear Qi cannot help our prince return to Jin. We should go elsewhere and seek another chance." They went together to see Chang'er, but found that he was deeply infatuated with Lady Jiang of Qi, spending his days eating, drinking, and enjoying himself, ignoring outside affairs. The companions waited 10 days without seeing him. Wei Chou grew furious and said, "We believed the prince would achieve great things, so we followed him without complaint. We have stayed in Qi for 7 years, living in idle comfort. 10 days pass and we cannot even see him. How can we accomplish anything?" Hu Yan said, "This is not the place to speak. Please follow me." They left the east gate and went 1 li away to a place called Sangyin. Old mulberry trees stood thickly there, their heavy shade blocking out the sunlight. 9 companions sat in a circle on the ground. Shao Kuya asked first, "What plan do you have, Seifan?" Hu Yan said, "If the prince is to leave, it depends on us. We will prepare everything. When the prince comes out, we will say we are going hunting. Once outside the city, we force him to leave together. But which state should we go to?" Shao Kuya replied, "Song is seeking hegemony, and its ruler values reputation.
We can go to Song first. If that fails, we can go on to Qin or Chu. There will be opportunity.
Hu Yan said, I have ties with Gongsun, the Minister of War in Song. Let us try there. After much discussion, they dispersed. They thought the place was secluded and no one would know. But as the saying goes, if you want something not to be heard, do not speak it. If you want something not to be known, do not do it. At that time, more than 10 maidservants of the Zhang household were picking mulberry leaves to feed silkworms. They overheard the discussion and later reported everything to Lady Zhang. Lady Zhang shouted, Such nonsense! Do not speak recklessly. She imprisoned the maidservants in a room and had them all killed that night to silence them. Then she woke Prince Chang'er and said, Your followers intend to take you to another state. Some silkworm maids overheard their plot. Fearing a leak or obstruction, I had them eliminated. You should prepare to leave soon. Chang'er replied, In one lifetime, peaceful enjoyment is enough. There is no need to consider anything else. I will remain here until old age and go nowhere. Lady Zhang said, Since you fled, Jin has known no peace. Ye Wu is foolish, failed in war, and suffered humiliation. The people resent him, and neighboring states do not support him. This is heaven favoring you. If you leave now, you will surely regain Jin. Do not hesitate. Chang'er, still infatuated, refused. The next morning, Xiao Kui, Hu Yan, Zhu Ji, and Wei Chu stood outside the palace gate and sent word. Please invite the prince to hunt outside the city. Chang'er was still asleep and had the attendants reply, The prince is unwell and not yet dressed. He cannot go today. When Lady Zhang heard this, she urgently summoned Hu Yan alone. She dismissed everyone else and asked about their intentions. Hu Yan replied, When the prince was among the Dai tribes, he hunted every day. In Qi, he rarely goes out. We feared he would grow idle. There was no other intent. Lady Zhang smiled and said, This hunt is to Song, or Qin, or Chu, is it not? Hu Yan was startled and said, How could one hunt go that far? Lady Zhang said, I know everything about your plan to force the prince to flee. I urged him last night, but he refused. Tonight I will host a banquet and get him drunk. You load him onto a carriage and leave the city overnight. It will succeed. Hu Yan kowtowed repeatedly and said, For a wife to set aside marital affection to accomplish her husband's great cause, such virtue is rare through the ages. He left the palace and informed the others. They prepared carriages, attendants, weapons, whips, and provisions. Xiao Kui and Hu Mao waited outside the city. Only Hu Yan, Wei Chou, and Da Yanjie hid near the palace gate with 2 small carriages, waiting for Lady Zhang's signal to act. As the saying goes, to become an extraordinary man under heaven, one must travel 10,000 miles through the human world. That very night, Lady Zhang prepared a banquet in the palace and personally offered wine to the prince. Chang'er asked, Why have you arranged this feast? Lady Zhang replied, I know you carry ambitions that reach the 4 directions of the world. This banquet is meant to see you off. Chang'er said, Life is short and time passes quickly. Since I am already content, why should I seek anything more? Lady Zhang answered, To indulge in desire and sink into comfort is not the way of a true man. Those who follow you are loyal and plan for your future with all their hearts. You must listen to them. Chang'er flew into a rage, set down his cup, and refused to drink. Lady Zhang asked, Do you truly refuse to leave, or are you deceiving me? Chang'er replied, I am not leaving. Who am I deceiving? Lady Zhang smiled and said, To leave is your ambition, to stay is your affection. This wine was meant to send you off. Since you choose to stay, let it instead celebrate your decision. Shall we drink freely and enjoy ourselves tonight? Chang'er was delighted. Husband and wife drank together. Singing girls were called in to sing and dance and urge him to drink. Chang'er could already drink no more, yet Lady Zhang repeatedly raised her cup. Without realizing it, Chang'er became completely drunk and collapsed onto the table. Lady Zhang covered him with a quilt and sent someone to summon Hu Yan. Hearing that the prince was drunk, Hu Yan hurried into the palace with Wei Chu and Dayanjie. Together they lifted Chang'er, table and all, and carried him out of the palace. They layered the carriage with thick bedding and placed Chang'er inside. Hu Yan bade farewell to Lady Zhang. Tears quietly streamed down her face. A poem captures this moment. The prince clings to pleasure. The beauty longs for a distant road. To fulfill the flight of a great bird, she cuts apart the bond of paired phoenixes. Hu Yan and the others urged the 2 small carriages forward, left the city at dusk, and met up with Zhao Kui and the rest. They rode through the night without stopping. After traveling 50 or 60 li, cries were heard from all directions, and the east began to pale with dawn. Chang'er turned in the carriage and asked the attendants for water to quench his thirst. Hu Yan, driving beside him, replied, "Wait until daylight to drink." Chang'er felt his body swaying and could not rest. He said again, "Help me down from the bed at once." Hu Yan replied, "This is not a bed, it is a carriage." Chang'er opened his eyes and asked, "Who are you?" The answer came, "Hu Yan." Only then did Chang'er fully understand. He realized he had been tricked by Hu Yan and the others. Throwing off the quilt, he sat up and shouted angrily, "Why did you not tell me? Why have you taken me out of the city? What do you intend to do?" Hu Yan said, "We intend to restore the state of Jin to you." Chang'er replied, "I have not regained Jin, yet I have already lost Qi. I do not wish to go." Hu Yan deceived him, saying, "We are already 100 li from Qi. Once the ruler of Qi learns you have fled, he will surely send troops to pursue us. Even if you wish to return, it will be impossible." Chang'er was consumed by rage. Seeing Wei Chou standing guard with a long halberd, he seized the weapon and lunged toward Hu Yan. What will happen next? Will Hu Yan survive? We will continue in the next episode.
Sky in light, Nua healed the broken heart. Fuxi traced the world's design. Every age leaves stories bright. Yaya dynasty shaped bronze. Shang dynasty cast leave stories bright. History and myth ignite in endless light. China's history moves in mystery through the night. Footsteps of this land enchant the world in light. Kingdoms dynasty turn war to tales. Jin dynasty led Ink and mountains bloom. Sui dynasty carved the Grand Canal. Tang dynasty crowned the world with art. Song dynasty raised learn